start with the Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadameyam Dadati Swabhadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttadagamadam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagaratam Raghunatham Vativam Tam Sadivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijansetam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagar Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamsha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपीकांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विष्णु प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत तथा शिवा सदि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we started with the Purushottama Yoga. And previous chapter we dealt with Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, right? The liberation and the conditioning of the living entity, and how we get liberated, and how we are conditioned, what are the three modes of material nature, and what is the force binding to us, right? Material nature, and the recognizing the supremacy of the mode of within a person, which mode is basically is fighting, which mode is more superior to other. Sattva is superior, or Rajogun is superior, Tamogun is superior, and the actions pertaining to various modes, and then the death, various modes, and how to transcend the modes by the weapon of death. So in the 15th chapter, we start the Purushottama Yoga. The first five shlokas is that how to get detached from the material world, the reflection, which is the reflection of the spiritual world. We will go now to the section B part, which is Purushottama Yoga, the transmigration, how the transmigration takes place. In the third section, how the Krishna's position as a maintainer, how he is the maintainer, right? And in the three shloka, the summarizing of the Vedas, that how the Vedas, from the Vedas and Vedanta, what needs to be learned, and in the Bhagavad Gita, summarizing Vedas and Vedanta, kinds of living entities, right? Various from the what is Brahman and all, how it is mentioned in the Vedas and the Vedanta. That part we will learn in the fourth part. Right. So since in the previous chapter, basically there was Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Basically, it is the how the three modes are there. Right. How these modes are, and it is the reflection, how it is the reflection of the spiritual world that needs to be done, and how it is the reflection to it. This is we learned that this is there is a bit, basically it is a banyan tree which is upside down, and the roots are upwards, and the bottom are the branches and leaves are there in the photo. That how on the picture, that how the below parts are the sense object, the most bottom parts are basically the sense objects, and above it are some some religiosity is there. The leaves are the Vedas, and the twigs are the senses, right? And the leaves, Vedic hymns are there, right? Which if you the green leaves, which you can see, which is very beautiful, that can be seen. So it is basically attractive because of fruitive activity by which one can go to the higher planets. In the higher planet, the Devloka is there, and ultimately the roots are the Brahma Loka, the Brahma. Because of the desire, it is going down and down, right? And the right and the left are impious acts, and the pious acts, right? Various things. So this is the nourishment. The nourishment to it, we learned the nourishment to it is done by the three gunas. So wherever the three gunas are there, the nourishment to this tree will be happening, because it will come, the desires will be there, right? In the bottom part, you can see the tips of the branches are the senses, the twigs are the sense object, the leaves are the Vedic hymns, right? Various, and roots are the real roots are the grow upwards, which is Brahma Loka. Then there is Sadashiv Loka, and then above that, the Krishna Goloka Vrindavan. So secondary root grow downwards, Goloka, attachment and aversions, it is there, and found by the fruitive actions, right? And upper and lower planets. Living entities involved hops from one branch to the Y for the fruits, right? Various fruits. Some fruits are good to taste, some fruits are bad to taste. So up is down, down is up here. It is the permitted reflection of the actual tree, right? Actual tree is upwards. The extends where it ends. All the living entities are eternal fragmental parts. So still, we are the eternal fragment parts. Still, we are here because of the desires. Right? So the only way out of the tree is detachment. The weapon of this, this branch needs to be cut by weapon of detachment. So find one in knowledge, right? The spiritual master should be approached, hear properly from him about the relationship between the Lord and the living entity, the sambandha. The sambandha should be established, find one in knowledge, surrender to the Lord, true spiritual master, right? Avideya. He will show you the process. What is the process? Bhakti Yoga. The spiritual master will show you the Bhakti Yoga process. No false prestige that he is Lord of material nature, right? No false prestige should be there. Not illusion. We should be away from illusion. Gives up false association, right? What will happen at the result? The Prayojana is attaining the Krishna Prema. That attains the eternal abode, free from the dualities. And the actual place where you belong, the spiritual beings belong, will be reaching there. So entangled in the material world, it is basically reflecting medium. The original tree is the superior, the top portion, the superior nature, the superior world it is. But material world is reflection, perverted reflection, right? Nourishment is done by three modes of nature, right? Above is the actual enjoyment is above. So the roots, the real root of this material existence grows upwards, right? The real roots is going upwards. Topmost knowledge where it will end at the Brahman. The secondary roots are in the human planetary system, Bhulokam, going downwards, right? And grow downward and spread in all time. Why? Because of desires, right? Subsidiary roots are attachments and aversion. Various attachments are there, various aversions are there, right? Which are byproducts of different varieties of suffering and sense enjoyment. Right? The tendencies towards piety and impiety are the concept to develop from these secondary roots. The branches, various branches it's going, it is basically upper and lower. 14 planetary systems are there. Then various manifestations are there, various unis are there, Sadasat uni, because various, good and evil unis, all kind of, all kind of species one gets. Green leaves are the Vedic hymns, twigs are the sense objects, sound, form, right? Senses, the senses, the gyan, the tips of the branch, gyanindriya, eyes, ears, pose. Fruits, karma of jiva, dharma, artha, kam, and moksha, right? The karma of the fruits are basically maximum people are involved in only dharma, artha, and kam. No, not even in the moksha. Okay? But the fruits, one is always after even the liberation is also a kind of the karma for the jiva, right? The dharma, artha, kam, and moksha. Fruits, these are the fruits. Hops from one branch to another, trying to taste the. So the weapon of detachment, asanga sustainer. The weapon of detachment is very significant of attachment of sense enjoyment. Lording over the material nature is very strong. Asanga sustainer. That is the trick to basically get about now. So asanga sustainer, the chitva, but with determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Detachment is the only way out of the tree. How? People find one in knowledge, then surrender to the Lord, and then attain the better. Right? So first one we should search for the knowledge, one who is in knowledge. So we have searched that yes, Srila Prabhupada is there. Follow his disciple, we have a guru. Then we need to learn that how to surrender to the Lord and then ultimately attain it. So who will in the text 5 is mentioned who will be able to surrender to supreme person. Therefore, say Nirmama, one who is free from false prestige or pride. Right? One needs to be free from false prestige and pride. Then second is Moha, freedom from illusion. Then Jita Sangha Dosha, right? Freedom from false association. Right? The bad association should be left out. Then Adhyatma Nitya, understand the term. Right? One who understands the term basically will be able to qualify to surrender. Then there with the freedom from the dualities, right? The happiness and the distress, right? And the sukh and the dukkha, and the cold and the hot and the cold, everything included, and the good times and the bad times, and all these are the dualities. Vinirvitta kama, right? Done with the material lust and unbewildered, right? Unbewildered, right? One is not bewildered when the material things are not there. So done with the material lust, right? He had everything, and he is now done with the material lust because it is temporary. It is temporary, right? The enjoyment is temporary. Nothing fruitful is coming out of it. It is not eternal. The enjoyment should be like that. It should be eternal, right? Once you get the enjoyment, it should be eternal. The blissfulness should be eternal, going on and on, right? So who will be able to surrender to the Lord? One should become nirmama, moha, chita sangha dosha, adhyatma nitya, manvar mukta, mukta, and linirvatta kama. Right? Come to the fifth, second part. Of course, we learned the how to how to get detached by the weapon of detachment, and now we come to the transmigration. How the transmigration takes place. न तद्भासयते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम. Hare Krishna. Translation.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
That abode of mind is not illuminated by the sun or moon, nor by electricity. One who reaches it never returns to this material world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, in the left picture, and is there any sun for this Goloka Vrindavan? No. Why? Because Swayam, Sri Krishna is there. So his effulgence is enough there. Right? It's enough there. This is basically his Goloka Vrindavan, the mode of mind which is saying not illuminated by the sun or the moon or by electricity. But still it is illuminated, right? So one who reaches it never returns to his material. So various planets are there because it is not required. Once you reach there, is the Param Dhama, eternal abode, eternal and the ultimate, the supreme abode. Param Dhama, right? He is the Param Brahma and the Param Dhama. Once you go there, it should, one should never be returned, right? So this was describes spiritual world, the abode of Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan. Right? In the spiritual sky, there is no need of sunshine, moonshine, fire, electricity because all the planets are self-luminous. We have only one planet in this universe, the sun, which is self-luminous, but all the planets in spiritual sky are self-luminous. Right? Already, all the light is already there. The shining effulgence of all those planets called Vaikuntahas constitutes the shining sky known as the Brahma Jyoti. So what is the what everyone goes to the Brahma Jyoti, right? The effulgence. So one get the Sayujya liberation. So that person basically the Brahma Jyoti. Actually, the effulgence is emanating from the planet of Krishna, Goloka Vrindavan. Part of that shining effulgence is covered by the Mahatattva, the material world. Right? Mahatattva, the Mahavishnu basically creates the Garbhodaksha Vishnu and the Shivadaksha. So Mahatattva, basically shining effulgence covered by the part of that is Mahatattva. The major portion of the shining sky is full of spiritual planets called Vaikuntha. So Vaikuntahs are basically having all the effulgence. Chief of which is Goloka. It is surrounded, the Goloka Vrindavan is surrounded by innumerable, numerous Vaikuntahs, where various devotees who got the liberation of Sarupya, Sarishti, Samipya, Salokya. In that, they go to these Vaikuntha planets, right? Because not through the pure seva or seva bhav of the to attain the Krishna has not come yet. Just a little bit minute desire is there. For that even they go to the Vaikuntha. Salokya is having the same loka as the supreme personality godhead, that is Vishnu, having the same rupa Sarupya, having the same strength as him Sarishti, Samipya having nearby coming near to the near to the service of the Vishnu. These small desires, and even a minute desires there, that also is fulfilled in the Vaikuntha. Ultimately, then they will be purely purified, and they will be. As long as the living entity is in this dark material world, he is conditional. As soon as he reaches the spiritual sky, by cutting through the false, perverted tree of this material world, he becomes liberated. No chance of his coming back, right? In the conditional life, the living entity tends to lord over the material world. And he wants to basically lord over on the entering the spiritual kingdom after liberation, he becomes an associate of the Supreme Lord, enjoying eternal bliss, Sat Chit, eternal life, and full Anand. Sat Chit Anand. One should desire to transfer himself to that eternal world, right? Back to the eternal world. For one too much attached to this material world, detachment becomes difficult. right? Because Bhogeshwarya Prasaktara and Daya Bharata Chetasam Vyavasayitmaka Buddhir Samadhauna Vidyate. So one who is too much attached, Bhog Aishwarya Prasaktara, one who is too much attached to the Bhoga and the Aishwarya, right? The resolute determination to serve the Lord does not take place, right? So Krishna himself is saying that to one who is too much attached to the Bhoga and the Aishwarya, what will happen? That the resolute determination, right? Determination of our Shraddha will not start. It will not, come in place. It will become difficult, to start even the devotional service. So detachment is the only thing which will can be held, right? Mm. So only Krishna consciousness and only Krishna consciousness and association with the Krishna conscious devotees can, right? Just a saffron attire is not sufficient, right? Just wearing a uniform is not sufficient. He must become attached to the Lord in devotion, right? Just because having a uniform and going to the school does not mean that yes, you will learn something out of it. No, you have to actually practice what is being taught in the right. So Paramam Mama means every nook and corner belongs to the Supreme Lord. The spiritual world is Paramam, full of six opulences. Katha Upanishad also confirms that in the spiritual world, there is no need of sunshine, sunshine or stuff. Just So the spiritual world is Paramam, full of six opulences. The Katha Upanishad 2.2.15, right? Also confirm that spiritual world is there is no need of sunshine, moonshine, so not even in this Bhagavad Gita, also in Katha Upanishad, right? So the Shastras are saying everywhere the same thing. The Shastras is not like at one place it says something else, at the other place it says something, right? So the Katha Upanishad, it is confirming that yes, there is no need of in the spiritual world, there is no need of sunshine, moonshine, or stars, right? Like the Krishna is saying, right? Na tata suryo bhati, na chandra taraka. The entire spiritual sky is illuminated by the internal potency of the Supreme Lord. Such a supreme abode can be attained only by surrender and by no other means, right? Characteristics of the Supreme, right? Of the Lord Supreme, right? That Dhama Paramam, right? That abode is not illuminated by sun, moon, fire, or electricity, right? Once attained, one never returns to the material world, right? Right? The abode is no sun is green, no moon, no fire, no electricity, nothing is it is illuminated, right? Because so much everything is blissful. Every grass is blissful, every flower is blissful, every leaf is blissful, everything present there is in a blissful state, right? They might be in the shanta rasa. Shanta rasa is neutral, the rasa in the neutral of that whatever you want, Lord, I that kind of rasa, right? Whatever you wish, I accept it, that kind of rasa, right? Shanta rasa, very beautiful rasa, right? Like the Sakya rasa, Dasya rasa, the Vatsalya rasa, and Madhurya rasa, like five prominent rasas are there, in which the Shanta rasa is the first one, right? Once attained, one never returns to the material. Mamivamsha jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana mana sanstani indrani prakriti sthani karshati. Hare Krishna. Translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal, fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with six senses, which include the mind. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, Mamai Vamsha Jiva Loke. So here Krishna is clarifying, Mamai, my, are my eternal friend. Mamai Vamsha Jiva Loke. The living entities in the conditioned world. Jiva Loke. The Lok where jivas are present, right? Jiva, the conditioned word. Mamai Vamshu, right? My eternal part. Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. It is eternal. Sanatana means eternal. Fragmental parts, right? Fragmental part. Manasasthan Indrani, which thus the Indriyas are, the senses are basically five, right? Which is the sixth one? Sixth one is the mind, right? The sixth sense is the mind. So due to the conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind, right? Because we are conditioned, that's why our mind again and again go to some kind of habit, right? Some kind of enjoying propensity, right? The various kind of enjoying propensities are there by seeing, by touching, by tasting, by smelling, by listening, right? Various kinds of the senses are there because of the mind, right? The mind is basically in the chariot you have seen. The mind is there's the rope, and there are the five senses, right? The mind basically drives it through the intelligence, right? So they are very struggling hard, right? This first gives the identity of the living being, right? How the living being are struggling here, right? Living entity is fragment part and parcel of the supreme lord, right? It is characteristics of the living being is also being told, and it is the fragmental part, and that's why Srila Prabhupada again and again says that we are the part and parcel of the supreme lord. It is not that he assumes individuality in his conditional life and his liberated state becomes one with the Supreme Lord. Right? The individuality is not like he comes here and then he gets the and he then the individuality comes. No, in the spiritual world, there also individuality is here. Here also individuality is here, right? But the form which we are getting, how our face should be there, how our hand should be there, how our height should be there, what kind of yoni we get, right? That is basically depending on the karmas of life. But the individuality is remaining, right? So he is eternally fragmented. It is clearly said Sanatana. According to the Vedic version, the Supreme Lord manifests and expands himself in innumerable expansions, right? Of which primary expansions are called Vishnu Tattva. Right? The primary expansion is basically Shirodakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Karanadakshay Vishnu, and Mahat Vishnu. So various expansions of Vishnu is only there. And the secondary expansions, which are the marginal energy, are called the living entities, right? So if one says that I will become Vishnu one day, so tell him then, no sir, you will not become. You are basically the secondary expansion. The secondary expansion cannot become the primary expansion, right? The primary expansion is the Vishnu Tattva. The secondary expansion is the living entities, right? Then like in a tree, there is a main root and then there are secondary roots, right? So the main root is basically the Vishnu Tattva, and the secondary roots are the living entity, right? Similar to that. The Vishnu Tattva is the personal expansion, and the living entities are the separated expansion, right? The Vishnu Tattva is his personal, right? It is like going to the office. Krishna going to the office is like Vishnu Tattva, right? The living entities are basically separated expansions, right? Like it is like if we are the spark in the original fire, the spark, the minute spark in the fire, that is the main fire is there. So we are the part and parcel of that, right? So separating expansion. By his personal expansion, he is manifested in various forms like Lord Ram, Narsimhadev, Vishnu Murti, and all predominating deities in the Vaikuntha planet, right? One needs to go to meet to Lord Ram, then he will go the Saket planet, right? The Saket Dham. So various, but Narasimha planets. So separated expansions, the living entities are eternally servitors, right? We are the eternal servitors. The personal expansions of the Supreme Personality Godhead, the individual entities of the Godhead are always present, right? Always present. The separated expansion of living entities have their identities, right? We have individual identities. As fragmental parts and parcels of Supreme Lord, the living entities also have fragmental portions of his qualities, of which independence is one. Right? We have fragmental portions. We have, like Krishna is having 64 qualities. All the 64. The Vishnu is having 60 qualities. Similarly, we have six qualities, right? Six qualities. So we have minute independence also, right? Minute independence is also there. And by misuse of that independence, one becomes a conditioned soul dominated by the modes. And by proper use of independence, he is always liberated. Right? Either case, he is qualitatively eternal, as the Supreme Lord is. Right? In his liberated state, he is freed from material condition and he is under the engagement of transcendental service unto the Lord. Right? Forgets the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Right? The living entity is not only human beings and the cats and dogs, but even the greater controllers of the material world, Brahma, Lord Shiva, and even Vishnu, are all parts and parcels of the Supreme. Right? So Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Vishnu are all parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. They are all eternal, not temporary manifestations. Right? All are eternal. The word Karshati, struggling or grappling hard, is very significant. Anasanstani Dhyani, Prakrati Sthani, Karshati. Karshati means struggling. Right? Conditioned soul is bound up as though shackled by iron chains. We are bounded by the three modes of material nature. Right? The senses, the five senses and the mind, right, is bound by the false ego, and the mind is the chief agent which is driving him in this material existence. Again and again, our mind is driven to this world by due to senses, to enjoying propensities. When the mind is in the mode of goodness, his activities are good. The mind is in the mode of passion, his activities are troublesome. When the mind is in the mode of ignorance, he travels in the lower species of. The conditioned soul is covered by the material body within the mind and the senses. And when he is liberated, his material covering, but his spiritual body manifests itself in its individual capacity by the grace of the Lord. The revived spiritual body can see the Supreme Person Godhead face to face. He can hear and speak to him face to face, and he can understand the Supreme Personality Godhead as he is. Right? So the one whose spiritual body is activated, he can see, he can have the darshan of the Lord in his heart. From Smriti also it is understood, Vasanti Yatra Purusha Sarve Vaikuntha Murtaya. In the spiritual planets, everyone lives in bodies featured like the Supreme Personality Godhead, right? Sarupya, Salukya, right? Same personality, same looking like, same looking like the four-ended form like of the Vishnu. As far as the bodily construction is concerned, there is no difference between the part and parcel living entities and the expansions of the Vishnu. Same, they look same like the Vishnu. But just the Lord is identified, cost of money is there on his head. And that he is identified there. Words Mamevamsha, fragmental parts and parts of the Supreme Lord are also very significant. Fragmental Mamevamsha, fragmental parts and parts of the Supreme Lord. Not like some material broken part. The spirit cannot be cut into pieces, right? It is not like that. From one, there was, one 10 meters diameter of spirit, from where, multiple, 0.0001 10 to minus 15 power there, one spirit is created. Oh, it's not like that because the spirit cannot be cut into, right? Jayate Priyate Kadachi Nayam Bhutva Bhavithana Bhuya Ajo Nitto Shashvatoyam Purano Nahanyate Hanya Manishari, right? It cannot be, it killed, or it cannot be, burned, it cannot be dried, it cannot be cut into. The fragmental portion is eternal, Sanatana. Each and every individual body possesses the fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord. Yet each and every individual body possesses a fragmental portion, right? That fragmental portion, when liberated from the bodily entanglement, revives its original spiritual body, the spiritual sky, the spiritual planet, and enjoys association. Right? So we have spiritual sky, we have spiritual planet, and we have spiritual body, which is currently not revived. We are entangled with this body due to our karmic reactions, right? Due to our prarabdha, due to our enjoying propensities, due to our desire, due to this six senses. It is, however, understood here that the living entity, being the fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, is qualitatively one with the Lord, right? We are Satchidanand Vigraha, Satchidanand Swarupa. Just as the parts and parcel of gold are also gold. The small portion of the gold is also, right? The quality is not 24 karat is that also, 24 karat is others. So what is the identity of living entity? Original position is the we are the eternal Mama Imamsha Jivalu. Are in the parts and parcel of Krishna. We belong to the Supreme Lord in the spiritual world because we are spiritual beings and we are currently struggling hard with mind and senses. Right? Shariram yad apnoti yachapi utkramatishvara Ritvaitani samyati vayurgandhan evashayat. Hare
Hare Krishna. The living entity in the material world carries his different conception of life from one body to another as the air carries aroma.
Here, the transmigration process is being given, right? Dehinusmin yathade. Similarly, the example is given by Krishna. And from one body to another, how the air, as if it carries the aromas. Similarly, the body is being carried how from the mind, whatever it wants to do. So here, the living entity is described as Ishvara, the controller of his own body, right? He is the control of his own body. How? Because we have Kshetragna. We have learned that Kshetragna, right? Kshetragna is there. Kshetragna is there because he can decide what kind of consciousness he is cultivating, right? And that consciousness will be his next body, right? So he is basically he is deciding as per his consciousness. He has the wills, right? He has the will to decide, right? So if he likes, he can change his body to a higher grade, and if he likes, he can move to a lower, right? Minute independence. Because whatever consciousness we are developing with our our own consciousness only, right? We want it, right? That's why the next body will come as per our will, right? The change his body undergoes depends on him, right? At the time of death, the consciousness he has created will carry him on to the next type of body. He has made he has made his consciousness like that of a cat or a dog. He is sure to change to a cat or dog. And he likes too much dog. He likes to be like a dog. He likes to enjoy like a dog. One will become a dog. If he has fixed his consciousness of godly qualities, we will change into the form of a Krishna consciousness body, right? And if it's Krishna consciousness, he will transfer to the Krishna Loka, right? In the spiritual world, will associate with Krishna himself. It is false claim that after annihilation, this body of this body, everything is finished, right? That is that is just false. The various studies have been there that near death experience, afterlife, various books are. The individual soul is transmigrating from one body to another, and his present body and present activities are background of his next body. Right? So his present body and present activities are what background of the next body. Whatever next body is related with this part of this present. We are craving. We are basically sculpting our future. How? By writing this, by writing the present, by writing the present, present consciousness, by writing the present activities which we are doing. One gets a different body according to the karma, and he has to quit his body in due course. It is stated here that the subtle body which carries the conception of next body develops another body in the next life. So what carries? What is the subtle body consisting of? Mind, intelligence, and fall. That is basically carried, right? The carried mind, intelligence, and false ego will go with you. This process of transmigrating from one body to another and struggling while in the body is called karshati, or struggle for existence. It's a process of transmigration explained. A living entity acquires a material mind and carries different conceptions of life from one body to next. Analogy as the air carries the air, right? Similarly. Sotram chakshu Parshnam cha rasanam grahanam eva cha adhisthaya manishayam vishayanupasevate.
Hare Krishna. The living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, tongue, and nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects. Hare Krishna.
So, what kind of body one will get? The various certain type of shrotram. Shrotram is ear, chakshu, eye, sparshnam. Sparshnam is sense of touch. Rasnam, tongue. Grahanam, nose. But all these have this which are grouped in the about the mind. The mind is the adhisthaya man, situated in mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of senses, right? So various gross over various these things. So how one is getting the body is it is like transferring, right? The mind is the mind. The subtle body is basically carrying from one place to another, and from there, one how one is getting the body, how the shape of the body is there. Krishna is explaining in that detail also, right? How the shape of the body, the ear, nose, eyes, everything will be as per the as per the whatever the whichever what kind of consciousness we have carried, next life, that will be decided. If living entity adulterates his consciousness with the qualities of cats and dogs, he will his next life he gets a cat or dog body and enjoys. Consciousness is originally pure like water, but if we mix water with a certain color, it changes, right? Similarly, consciousness is pure for the spirit soul is pure, right? So, firstly, it is pure, but consciousness is changed according to the association of the material quality. Real consciousness is Krishna consciousness. In this state, one is in his pure life. When adulterated, he does not necessarily get a human body again. He can get the body of a cat, dog, hawk, demigod, or one of many other forms, for there are 84 lakhs. Pratama. उत्क्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि भुञ्जनं वा गुणान्वितं विगूढानानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषा. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Also, like this person, if he is not a mechanic, then whatever he do, he cannot repair this car, right? The car is basically broken down in between. But if he does not know, right? So what will happen? He will not be able to. So the foolish person also cannot understand how a living body can quit his body, nor can he understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of Purusha, because they don't know the things, right? But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this, right? Because if he has seen the knowledge, right, he has learned about the knowledge, then he will be able to see that what is happening. He will first, in these 6 chapters, having the Jnana Yoga part. If you have this knowledge, then you will be able to check with yourself in which guna we are in, what kind of qualities we are cultivating, what kind of consciousness we are getting into. After that, if you even try to do the bad consciousness, then you will know that next life is that only, right? So what will happen? You will be trying to rectify it. You will try to rectify it because you know that this is just entanglement. This is just material world. This is the weapon of detachment should be there, right? So only the mechanic can know. So the spiritual master can guide you. The word Jnana Chakshusha is very significant. Without knowledge, one cannot understand how a living entity leaves his present body, nor what form of body he is going to take in the next life, nor even why is he living in a particular type of body. Because he will be bewildered, right? Because he will never know, right? So without the knowledge, no, he will be doing anything as per his will, right? So he is not caring about, but that is a dangerous situation. Those who have developed spiritual knowledge, however, can see that spirit is different from the body and is changing its body and enjoying it differently. Right? A person in such knowledge can understand how the conditioned living entity is suffering in this material existence, because various prarabdha is coming, various reactions are coming in our way. Right? But it is all due to the our karmas only. People need this knowledge as their conditional life is very much troublesome because maximum are in Rajoguna or Tamoguna. What will happen? They will troublesome. They should become Krishna conscious, and liberate themselves to transfer to the spiritual world. यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्ति आत्मनः स्थितं यतन्तोऽपि अकर्तात्मानो नैनं पश्यन्ति अचेतसा. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
The
Krishna.
endearing transcendentalist who is situated in self-realization can see all this clearly, but those who are not situated in the self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try to. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there, so and Balram was there, Nityananda Prabhu, so Sadashiv can, Sadashiv, the Advaita Acharya, right? They can see him. The Gadadhar Pandit could see him. The Narad Muni could see him. Every devotee could see him that yes, he is the supreme personality Godhead, right? He is the Krishna, he is the Radha Krishna, right? He has come in as become a devotee. He is here to give the knowledge, right? So one who is endeavoring transcendently, who is situated self-realization, right? Because one is trying to do self-realization. So one can see, right? One can see the Goswami could see. Nishad Goswami could see that yes, he is the Supreme Personality Godhead, right? But those are not secret in self-realization, right? Not trying to do any kind of self-realization. What can happen? Cannot see what is taking place. So they may try. Because they are not even trying to do self-realization, right? So what will happen? They will do material activity, right? So what will happen? They will know it will not take place, right? The self-realization cannot see, right? What is happening. Translated on the path of spiritual self-realization, but yet to attain self-realization, cannot see how things are changing in the body of the living. Right? So one who has not attained self-realization cannot see how things are changing. Mano, yogis endeavoring in a so-called yoga system of gymnastic exercise are not self-realized, right? Because yam and niyam, they are not following. Some asana and pranayam, they are following. Right? The pratyahar, the dhyan, dharana, samadhi, these all things are ashtin, because the dhyan yoga consists of eightfold yoga system. But only what is being taught, some form of asana and some part of pranayama. Right? These two things are the gymnastic is being taught. No yama niyama has been, because as soon as the yama niyama is been told, what will happen? The people will run away from that yoga system. Right? They will run away. Okay, this yam niyam, we cannot follow. So only that part. So what will happen? Self-realization is not taking place. So one is going to the yoga and you teach him, you say him that yes, you are not the matter, you are the spirit. He will say, no, I am the matter because I can do gymnastics. And so beautiful gymnastic I can do. So no self-realization is there. They cannot understand the process of the transmigration of the soul. Only those who are into the bhakti yoga realize the self, the world, and the supreme Lord. Right? Both, all the three, the Shetagnya, the difference between the Shetagnya and the Shetra can be defined by them. The Shetagnya is the knower of the body, who is the self and the supreme Lord, himself, and supreme Lord also. And the Shetra is the body, that is Prakriti. The Prakriti, the difference between the Prakriti and the Shetagnya, they can know. They can understand how things are taking place, including transmigration of soul. Right? Rest all cannot, do that. Result, those not trained in knowledge are in ignorance, right? What is the cure for ignorance? Krishna says knowledge. Right? So by the knowledge only, so we read Prabhupada books, Srila Prabhupada books, we read Bhagavad Gita as it is, we try to read Bhagavatam, we try to read Charitamrita, and all these books what will lead to knowledge. Those who are trained can see all this clearly because their minds are clarified by yoga practice, right? And thus situated in self-realization. But those whose minds are not developed and who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place. So they may try. Bhakti yogis are the actual yogis. Yogi nam api sarvesham madgatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajete yomam. Shraddhavan, who will bhaj? Only the bhakti yogi will bhaj. Kam yukta tamomata, right? So have realized self, world, and the supreme Lord, and see things as they are. The third section comes to Krishna's position as the maintainer. Now, how he is maintaining us, right? One will say that how Krishna is maintaining, how we can understand that he is maintaining. Right? The answer to that is clearly stated in Yadaditya Gatam Tejo Jagat Bhashayate Khilam Chandramasi Chagnau Tat Tejo Vidhi Mamakam. Hare Krishna. Dictionary.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
The splendor of the sun which dissipates the darkness of this whole world comes from me, and the splendor of the moon and the splendor of fire are also from me. Hare Krishna.
Hey Krishna, the splendor, the heat which you are feeling now, this is winter season going, right? So the heat, when we goes to the heat, from where it is coming, that the splendor of the sun which dissipates and the darkness of this whole world, right? The light which is coming, right? Which is dissipating all the darkness coming from where? Krishna only. From me, he's saying, from me. Not he is saying, right? Something else. He's saying me, right? Tat tejo vidhi mamakam. Right? He's saying mamakam. Right? And the splendor of the moon and the splendor of the fire are also from, right? The fire, the splendor of the fire, the light coming from the tej which is coming from there, and from the moon and the fire, it is all coming from me. And he is never saying it is from some coming from Brahman, right? Never. He is saying me, right? The individuality is again and again in order to clarify, in order to clarify the what the a person is not think like that. Everywhere they think that Brahman is there. And even he was saying that me, man mana bhava man bhakto, no, they are also not. So Krishna is the maintainer of the material world. Right? What is the benefit of such a conception of life given in this verse? The sun, moon, splendor comes from, everything coming from, so coming to Supreme Personality Body. The benefit of this verse, one will know that Krishna is the maintainer of this material world. So it is important to understand the splendor of the sun, moon, electricity, or fire come from the Lord. It is the beginning of Krishna consciousness. And when you understand that everything is coming from Krishna consciousness, that is just the beginning. In such a conception, the conditioned soul is considered as advancing in their knowledge in this material world. One is coming to this conception is basically advancing in the knowledge in the medicine. As the living entities are essentially parts and parcel of the Supreme Lord, they are herein hinted by the Lord how to go home back to God. Once you know the goal, because if you want to know the goal, you will ask him only, right? So he is saying, how to reach me. How to reach me. So he is giving the address basically, right? To reach by this method. The cell illuminates the entire solar system. There's different universes existing have different solar systems with different suns, moons, and planets, right? Each universe has only one sun. In 10.1, the moon is one of the stars. Nakshatranam Aham Saj. right? The moon is one of the stars, right? It is considered as stars in the Shastra, basically, right? Sunlight is due to the spiritual effulgence in the spiritual sky of the Supreme Lord. It is a spiritual effulgence. When you see the light of the sunshine, you can see that it is basically the Supreme Lord. It is coming, the Tej which is coming, it is from the Supreme Lord. With the rising of the sun, the activities of human beings start. Fire is said to prepare their foodstuff, right? The fire. Because why he is saying again the Tej? Because everything is starting from there. Foodstuff, you need the fire. And to start the practice, you need the fire. Digest anything, you need the fire. For everything, the fire should be there. Fire helps in many ways. Sunrise, fire, moonlight are so pleasing the living entities, right? The various way without the sunlight, vitamin D cannot, right? Without their help, no living entity can live. Moonshine nourishes all the vegetables. The pleasing moonshine is the mercy of the Lord. गामविश्य च भूतानि धारयामि अहं ओजसा उष्णामि चासुधि सर्वा सोम भूत्वा रसात्मकः कृष्ण
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I enter into each planet, and by my energy they stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. Hare Krishna.
You started that firstly how to maintain living entity in the bhuloka. So he started with the in the bhuloka. If the no sun is there, no plants will be there, no photosynthesis will happen. You cannot eat anything. Nothing can be. Moon is not there. That the various vanaspatis are there in the floras that cannot be maintained. Right. Without the sunlight, ice age will be there. Right. So by that he's firstly started with the sunlight, right? So where the sunlight without the sun, moon, and the fire. One is the Tej coming from the fire, the energy which is coming from the fire, he is okay, right? So from there he starts. Secondly, now how all the planets are in there, and how the planet, because why these things are being mentioned? Because we cannot see the Supreme Personality Godhead, right? So in order we cannot see him, we give the examples, right? That you think, right? That he asks Jiva basically to think upon it, to contemplate on it, that how you are living without this fire, you cannot live. Without the sunlight, you cannot live. Without the moon, you cannot live. Right? So he is giving examples, right? Understand this, because by this understanding only you will come to know if this is gone. The supply of air, good air, when the corona came, what happened? Even the oxygen become rare. One needs to understand who is the supplier. By that only, because if one has gone to the if one is not gone to the Krishna, then who will help you? No one can help. No one can help. Only Lord can help, because He is our Sodam Sarvabhutana. He is our true friend. Right? So now he comes out of it. Okay, you can see planets also. Right? Yes, we can see the planets. Okay, so he now saying the gravitational force, which is keeping all the planets in its place, right? I enter into each planet, and by my energy they stay in orbit. Who is this gravitational force? He is giving the example that gravitational force that you are seeing, which you cannot see, but it is there. What is that energy? He is saying that is me. I enter into each planet, and by my energy they stay in orbit. By his energy, they are staying in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables, all the vanaspatis. Right? So Krishna is the mentor of the world. That he's into he's giving the sunlight, and he is holding also. The whole holds the earth also, right? He enters into the planet, which gives vegetables nourished by which is very vegetables are nourished by moon, which comes from the so all the planets are floating in the air only by the energy of the Lord. The Lord enters into every atom, planet, and living being as Paramatma, his plenary portion. That is discussed in Brahma Samhita. Due to his entrance, everything is appropriately manifested. When the spirit soul is there, a living man can float on the water, right? When the living spark is out of the body and the body is dead, it's sick. Right? The living spark should be there, that is so. Of course, on decomposition it floats, but as soon as the man is dead, he at once sinks in water. Similarly, all planets float in space, but due to the entrance of the supreme energy of the supreme. His energy is sustaining each planet, just like a handful of dust and soil. If someone holds a handful of dust and soil, there is no possibility of it falling, right? The moment it is left of the fist, it will fall. Similarly, if the Lord had let go, then everything will fall. The floating planets are actually held in the fist of the universal form of Shiva, the Vishwarupa form that he is holding. Because in the 11th chapter, what we saw, that how he is holding every planet, how is it entered into every planet by his energy only, everything has been held. So Supreme, Supreme Lord shows that Vishwarupa. Strength and energy make all moving and non-moving things stay in their place. It is due to Supreme Personality Godhead that the moon nourishes all vegetables, making them delicious. Without moonshine, the vegetables can neither grow nor taste succulent. Right? The very survival of human society is due to the abundant mercy of the Lord. Right? So we need to understand that already there has been mercy of the, as as soon as we are in this body, and as far as we are in this body, we are taking some air, we are breathing, we are able to eat. It is all the mercy of the Lord already, right? The Satmaka means everything becomes uh, everything everything becomes palatable by the influence of the moon, right? An agent of the Lord. हम वैश्वनरो भूत्वा प्राणिनं देहम् आश्रिता प्राणपना समयुक्ता पच्छाम्यनं चतुर्विधम्. हरे
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I am the fire of digestion in every living body, and I am the air of life, outgoing and incoming, by which I digest the four kinds of food stuff. Hare Krishna.
is the now he is sentient to how the living. So even he is the fire of digestion, right? So the very survival, if we now our food enters into stomach and it is not digestion, then it is a hell of a night, right? So the fire of digestion is every living body, and I am the air of life, outgoing and incoming. And by every breath we need to meditate. So with every breath we need to meditate on whom? The Lord. Because who is the air of life also. That's why in the pranayama, one feels a lot of energy when some asanas are there, and within 15 minutes, right? You have gone to attend some, this art of living, I guess I got talking, and there's some proper asanas, in the pranayama asanas are there, breathing exercise. You will be feeling the life energies that you will be able to distinguish, right, within 15-20 minutes, right. I'm forgetting just the name of that pranayama which hmm, they teach basically. And there is this air of within 15-20 minutes, so this air of life, the outgoing coming, the energy you can feel it in the pranayama, right? But it is just, this is just energy, right? This is
Alom Vilom Prabhuji?
no, Mataji. It is fast, Mataji. Anulom Vilom is a
Okay.
slow meditation, Mataji. That is also part of pranayama. Uh, but particular meeting is a famous asana. It is just a breathing exercise. It is very 20 minutes only one can do. And by which I digest the four kinds of food stuff, right? Four kinds of food, right? One can taste it, chewed, can licked, and I can sucked. These four kinds. Uh, the Bhagavad Prasad will be sing in the morning, right? In the Mangaluru. So basically, this all this food is basically digested. This energy is also a lot, right? So everything, so he's why he is telling us, so that we come to know that yes, he is the maintainer of the everything. He is maintainer of every living entity. He is maintainer of the world. He is maintainer of the earth. He is the maintainer of all the planets, right? We are here. We are sitting here just by his will only, like because he is the maintainer, right? The Brahma has created, and now he is maintaining also. Right? He is the ultimate creation, the Sarva Karana Karan, although he is, but Brahma creates this for this material form, on behalf of Vishnu. Then what is happening? He is then maintaining also. Right? So he is the creator, he is the maintainer. So according to Ayurveda, there is a fire in the stomach, the digest of Chatagni. Chatagni, when the fire is improper, it has to be treated, right? Various medicine today. This fire is representative of the Supreme Personality Godhead. Vedic mantras, Bhagavanika, Upanishad 5.9.1 also confirms that Supreme Lord or Brahman is situated in the form of fire within the stomach or digesting all kinds of foods. I am Agni Vishwanaro Yo Amanatara Prashya Yenadem Am Prakshate. Since the eating process is controlled by the Lord, living entity is not independent in this. So enjoying different foods is also a grace of the Lord. There are 4 kinds of foodstuff. Some are drunk, some are chewed, some are licked, and some are sucked. Right? So drunk, chewed, some are licked, and sucked. Right? And he is the digestive force of Krishna is the maintainer. Now the 4 kinds of foodstuff. Also he is swallowed, chewed, licked, and sucked. All the forces. Sarvash now comes the previous shloka, right? How where he is living, right? So what is to be known? Sarvasya shaham radishani vishto mata smritim jnana ratanocha vedesya sarverahame vavedyo vedanta kridveda vid eva chaham. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known, and indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of Vedas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he is a Sarvasya Chaham Radhi Shani Vishto. Radhi in everyone's heart, right? He is seated in everyone's heart. Shani Vishto. And from me comes remembrance, Mata Smritir, Jnanam, knowledge, and forgetfulness, Apohanam cha. Right? Vedascha Sarver Aham Eva Vedu. By all the Vedas, Vedascha Sarver, all the Vedas, I am to be known, he is saying. Right? Aham Eva Vedu. Vedanta Krit Veda Vid Evachaham. I am the compiler of the Vedanta, right? He has given the Veda, right? He is clarified, right? So if you someone asks, then is there mentioned that yeah, whether Krishna has given the Vedas? Yes, he is saying Vedanta Krit Veda Vid Evachaham. Indeed, I am the compiler of the Vedanta and I am the knower of the Vedas. He is the knower of the Vedas. He is the compiler of the Vedas. Who will compile? The author will compile, right? He has written the Veda. He is the author. He has done everything, right? So he is from him only coming remembrance. You remember everything by his mercy. You have the knowledge by his mercy. You have the forgetfulness tendency by his mercy. We are forgetfulness of our eternal survey where we are of our previous janma. So it's his mercy, right? Because if he gives that, what will happen? Chaos will be created. But what the knowledge we are getting, it is by his mercy. We remember him by his mercy. Right? So everything is coming because he is seated in his heart. Right? He must look. As the Lord is the all, not only all pervading, not only aham sarvasya prabhava mata sarvam pravarti, right? He is all pervading. He is also localized in every individual heart. All activities are initiated from him. Living entities forgets everything of his past life. We don't remember, right? He has to act according to the direction of the Supreme Lord, who is witness to all his work. All the prarabdha is coming, he has been witnessed. Therefore, he begins his work according to his past deeds. Whatever past deeds were, do that. As per that, we continue. Lord Krishna graces him with required the knowledge and memory as he does not remember anything about his past life. So required knowledge, whatever today's children grasp mobile very quickly. Because there is on some mind intelligence and false ego has been carried the knowledge of the mobiles also. It has that kind of thinking. So Lord Krishna only is giving the required knowledge in them, right? As he does not remember his past life. He is worshipable as the impersonal Brahman, Supreme Person Godhead. Localized Paramatma, right? He is Brahman also, he is Paramatma also, and also the form of the incarnation of the Vedas as well. Srila Vyasa. The Vedas give the right direction to the people so that they can properly mold their lives and come back to Godhead. Right? From the Vedas, he is to be known. Aham Sarvasana, he is to be known from the Vedas. Right? He is saying, Vedas Sarvar Aham from the Vedas, he is to be known. The Vedas offer knowledge of the Supreme Personality Godhead Krishna. One who is not found in the Vedas Krishna is not able to identify Krishna and he has not found the knowledge. Right? So Krishna in his incarnation as the Vyasdeva is the compiler of the Vedanta. Right? So Krishna in his incarnation, Vyasdeva is the incarnation of the Krishna. That's why he's saying Anta Pravishta Sasta Granam. The living entity forgets as soon as he quits his present body, but he begins his work again initiated by the Although he forgets, the Lord gives him intelligence to renew his work from where he ended in the last life and suffer or enjoy in this world. Right? So whatever prarabdha that was left, then the suffer we enjoy as per the previous deeds. So the intelligence is coming from the previous life. He also gets the opportunity to understand the Vedas from him if he is serious. Or whatever opportunity we are getting, but we need to be serious. If we become serious, then we get more and more opportunity. Knowledge of the Vedas is given to the living entity to understand Krishna. Yosau sarver vida giyate. In all Vedic literature, beginning from the four Vedas, Vedanta Sutra and Upanishads and the Purana, the glories of the Supreme Lord are celebrated. Lord is attainable by performance of Vedic rituals, discussing Vedic philosophy, and by worship of the Lord and devotion. Right? All are bhajan kriya. Vedanta Sutra 1.1.4 confirms this in following. Tattu samanyavat. Samanvayat. One can attain perfection in three stages. The purpose of Vedas is to understand Krishna. Right? The purpose is what? Krishna. You understand Krishna. Understanding Vedic literature, one can understand his relationship with the Supreme. Sambandha. You can start with Sambandha. What is our relationship with the Supreme? We are the eternal servant. We have just to understand what is our rasa. We are the eternal servitor of the Lord, right? But we need to understand what is the rasa with us, right? Which kind of rasa is there with the Lord, right? That is a long process. Performing the different processes, one can approach Avideya. What is the process? Different processes, devotional service, right? To devotional service, one can attain the Supreme Lord, Supreme Lord. Svavimam Purushau Loke Sharaschakshara Evacha Shara Sarvani Bhutani Kutasto Shara Uchyate. Translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. There are two classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every living entity is called infallible. Hare Krishna.
Correct. So there are one is the fallible and infallible, right? Then the material world, who is there? Fallible. We are all fallible from the our original position. What is the original position? Eternal servitor of the Lord. We have easily fallen. But in the spiritual world, infallible, right? Always serving the Lord. The material world, every living entity is fallible. So Sarvasya Chaham Prati Vishnu, he is there. So he is Matasmatri Dhyanam from him comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Vedasya Sarveram Vidya from the Vedas he used to know. Vedanta Vidya Vidya Cham. He is the compiler of Vedanta Sutra that we learned in the previous section. The last part, right, is the three shloka Bhagavad Gita summarizing the Vedas and the Vedanta kind of. We'll do that in the next class. Start chapter 16. Hare Krishna. Any doubts on today's class?
Prabhuji, how do we separate Vedanta from Vedas? Is Vedanta not the extension of Vedas only?
Vedanta Sutra, Mataji, that is Vedanta. Uh, Vedas are Rigved and
Samved, Ajurved.
yes, all the four kinds of it. Vedanta Sutras are different also. That is different, Mataji. It is not the same as the Vedas.
Hare Krishna.
Any doubts on today's chapter? I hope you all are doing the quiz also. Your quiz also in the uh, ISKCON Mangalore site. There is a quiz. You can register online and choose the multiple choice questions of level 2. And the last you will get one certificate. You can show that in the level 3 because the level 3 they take the certificate in the Bhakti Shastri course also they will. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, after level 3, Bhakti Shastri will start?
Yes, Matari, I guess because there is no level 4 currently. From the level 3 only they have started the Bhakti Shastri.
Right.
पांचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।